Welcome to the Sports on Prime. I'm Gary Al Smith. Today we have news from the Ghana Premier League where the return of Kenichi Achuhachi has been met by a reaction by one of his former players. And also we hear from Peter Okoche again. We heard from him yesterday. Another angle to the story on his interview with us, plus Champions League updates and previewing the football show. Thank you for your time. So the Ghana Premier League player I'm talking about is Patrick Razak. He plays for Hearts of Oak, but he's praised Inter Allies' new boss, Kenichi Achuhachi, for his hands-on approach. Don't forget that Allies have announced that Kenichi will be in the country shortly to take them through the next season.
Kenichi, what I have to say about him is that he's a very hard-working coach, and it's a coach that sticks to his words and is very disciplined. And one thing about him that he doesn't joke with his time, because training starts at 8 o'clock, but before 5:30, Kenichi is already on the field doing his warm-up, even running on the field before the players come. So I think Kenichi is one of the coaches that if any player passes under him, is going to really help that player. And one thing about him that I normally look at it as, a coach, some of the coaches can give you the instruction that I want you to do this, to do that. But Kenichi will really go into the activity with you. While he's doing it, he's also doing it. So you said to yourself that if you are tired and the coach, maybe, let me say, is a 50 years coach, is also doing it, you can't stop because the coach is also doing it while you the player. So I think one of the things that I really like about him and really push me a lot is the thing.
Right. Two news about the FIFA World Cup, and Nigeria have qualified. Ghana is not there, as you know. One interesting thing that Nigeria have been keen to try and avoid is the perennial issue of bonus rows. They don't want the Super Eagles to go to Russia, and then we hear stories about players agitating for their bonuses. And Nigerian journalist who is also with the BBC, Peter Okoche, says he's happy with the NFF's agreement to sign the bonus arrangements with the players.
Well, if I heard Amaju Pinnick, who's the president of the Nigerian Football Federation, properly, I mean, what he's saying is that it's not a contract per se. We've reached an agreement, we've reached a settlement with these boys that we know we have a schedule that they will be paid all their monies as at when due. Nobody's going to be owed anything. I mean, you remember 2014, woke up one morning in Brazil only to hear that Ghana players were threatening to boycott a match, and Nigeria were boycotting training. You can't take this attitude into a World Cup if you want to win, or those kind of preparations into a World Cup if you want to be taken seriously. And then what happens? You become the laughing stock. You've missed 2 or 3 training sessions where Brazil, Sweden, Germany have been training, and you get on the pitch with them and you say you want to beat them. It's almost impossible. So I think it's good to get all these things clear right now. Let's all go there with a footballing mind, a footballing spirit, knowing that, listen, we can do the business. I was telling somebody today that a lot of the countries take African teams for granted. Let's use that to our advantage, and shock a few people. And, there's no reason why we can't get 2 teams into the quarterfinals or even into the semis.
Champions League now, and some very interesting results coming. We discussed on the polls about the potential for Bayern Munich to shock PSG. Don't forget that PSG lost at the weekend, their first league loss of the season. We're asking if psychologically PSG will be in a good position. Chelsea versus Atleti, though, is currently 0-0. Victor Moses powering in and the ball being saved by Yano Black there. It's at the bridge, and Chelsea and Atleti are at 22 minutes gone in this one. It's 0-0. Benfica are down by 1-0 against Basel. Man United are also losing against CSKA Moscow at Old Trafford. United need a draw to advance. And Bayern Munich are winning by 2-0 against PSG. 0-0 between Celtic and Anderlecht in Group C. There's also Roma versus Karabakh, that's 0-0 in Rome. And Barcelona are drawing goalless with Sporting. Juventus are leading 1-0 at Olympiacos. In international tennis, Rafael Nadal says he's happy with his return from an injury after not taking part in a couple of tournaments following the facts that he said that he wants to fully heal before coming back.
World number one Rafael Nadal has announced he will return to action at an exhibition event in Abu Dhabi at the end of this month. The 31-year-old withdrew from the ATP World Tour Finals in London due to a knee injury, and he now has confirmed that he is in training and ready for the 2018 season.
It's true that I finished it with an injury, so it takes a little bit of time to recover well. That's why I take it a couple of weeks off and did my treatment, and now I need to start again, as I said before, slow. No? So that's my goal, try to be ready for the beginning. I'm going to try to play in Abu Dhabi and Brisbane before Australia, so that will be the ideal situation. And let's try to make that happen.
After the Middle East, Nadal will head to the Brisbane International Tournament, which starts on January the 1st, before the Australian Open from January 15th to 28th.
This year I played 18 tournaments. That's not very many. Apart from the obligatory tournaments, I had just played Barcelona, Brisbane and Beijing. So I've just played 3 tournaments apart from the obligatory ones. That's to say that I've only played when the official schedule forces me. But it's true, I've played many matches and luckily everything has gone very well. I would like to have ended the year differently, but even then I would have paid for it before the new year started.
That's it for now for the sport. However, the football show returns at 10:30, where we'll look at all the highlights of the Champions League. So stay with us. Also, we'll take your calls. And speaking of calls, this happened yesterday when we were talking about Yao Safomafo's latest trending news on anti-corruption in Ghana football.
Yeah, right.
All right, thank you. Lukman, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Yes, I want to look at the issue of Yao Safomafo's comment. Hello?
I'm here. I can hear you.
Yes, I mean, it's the politicians who are to blame. They leave those who are corrupt and keep on blaming each other. The GFA, look at the corruption that is ongoing there. And nobody can tackle it. And so it is the politicians who are to be not... because how come Black Star cannot qualify to a World Cup? I can't believe this.
But how is that a fact that Black Stars cannot qualify to World Cup? How is it related to corruption?
You see, because of... yes, the GFA people, they have players. They have used players who cannot play the match for us.
Like who? Like who?
I wouldn't want to mention names.
No, you can't. You are not implicating anybody. You have not mentioned any GFA official's name. But tell us which player you think does not deserve to be there during these qualifiers.
So if that is so, why didn't we qualify?
No, so you are saying from where you are that we didn't use players who were good. So you tell me who you think was good, who we should have used.
Me? Hello?
I'm here.
Yeah, like I said, like Osafumafo said, I don't want to mention...
No. You are not mentioning any GFA official's name. You said we didn't qualify because we used players who are not good enough, right?
Yes.
So you tell me, who in the Black Stars does not deserve to be there? Tell me. Hello?
Hello.
Are you going to tell me or not?